When student protesters rallied in Tiananmen Square in 1989, there was much hope that reforms could come to China. Now, more than 2 decades later, reform has become an ugly word, says Chinese historian Zhang Lifan. These days, reform is something officials use to justify taking land from citizens and building new districts to boost economic growth, he says.
In the 1980s, reform was a word that everybody supported and admired. Reform thinking and moving forward the reform process were all positive concepts. Now it is not the same. Reform is a concept used to plunder.
When protesters rallied in Tiananmen in 1989, the public was very much concerned about corruption as well. The issue has not gone away, and today is something the Communist Party says threatens its very survival. David Kelly is with China Policy.
Corruption is different now. Corruption is really in the bones of the organization. It's gone, it's gone mafia style. It's gone family. Back in the 80s, it's value creating. You break the rules, you make a bit of graft money on the side, but you're actually helping the process of reform. You're breaking a deadlock in the supply.
The Communist Party's official verdict on the protests is that they were a counter-revolutionary rebellion. It is not known how many died in the crackdown, but estimates range from hundreds to several thousand. When pressed, Chinese officials focus on the changes China has made since that day, such as its economic reforms. They also talk about democracy, even though the Communist Party single-handedly rules China. Today, there is much less overt control of society as there was in the late 1980s, says Chinese historian Zhou Duo.
Control
in the 1980s over thinking and information was much more severe. Freedom is nowadays increasingly prevalent in China, but still there is no political freedom. Repression of political ideas and different political views is still very strong.
To this day, when individuals push too far, too fast, just as the students did in Tiananmen, they are quickly detained and held without charge or thrown behind bars. Bill Ide, VOA News, Beijing.